Hey, everybody. Gonna give people a little bit of time to get in. Playing this character because people were asking who he was, so I'm about to find out. It is Stan Lane. So one thing, a lot of people assumed that there wasn't any vertical... Something's going on with this controller. I need a new one. Hold that thought. I, like, legitimately need a new controller. Let's see. I was using this like third-party dog bone. See if it lets me change controllers without crashing. Maybe not. Oh, yep, sweet. What the hell's going on? Top loader? That was fine, that was fine. Huh. It's actually pretty good. I think something is actually going on with this controller, though. Or maybe my top loader, because the dog bone was doing the same thing, where my up and down is not really registering well. I feel like I was punching there. Wasn't really doing much. See, it's not... Something's up. Unless it's the character. You know what? Please hold. There's something legitimately wrong with my top loader. There you go. It loses sync unless I touch it, which is weird. So, I don't actually have an audio monitor. So let me know that you guys can hear me okay. I'm also getting over a cold, so I apologize for that. Okay, that's crazy. So, I didn't really have time to play this a whole lot before I sent it off to Frank's Faldy to get dumped. And as you can tell from the screen a couple seconds ago, this is playing off a flash cart. Because Frank still has my physical cart and he's sending it back. But I didn't notice that... Whoa. That each of the wrestlers actually have different movesets. Oh. Bad juju. So yeah, what I was saying earlier, to be clear, wow, I'm getting mangled. You can actually move vertically in this game. There's just not a lot of reason to move vertically. That's a good question. What will likely happen? So, first of all, Josh, can you hear me okay? Let me know that you can hear me okay, and then I'll continue my story. It should be able. Yeah, it's definitely registering. Oh crap. Okay, cool. So, regarding your question about how this ROM's gonna be available, So here's the thing. When I... and again, I'm sorry because I'm getting over a cold. When I bought this thing, we didn't know whether or not it worked. The guy didn't really know what it was, so I paid very, very little for the cartridge. And so now, having found out what it is, and of course the potential value of this cartridge, I feel pretty guilty about how that went down. And I was very upfront with the seller. I was like, look, this is a lot more special than what we thought. I can't, in good conscience, you know, pay you what I paid you for it. But I also don't have the capital to just, like, you know, give him a ton of money. So what I'd probably like to do for this release is do a run of physical cartridges first, and then release the ROM to the public. So that way the people who really want to can pay for a physical cartridge, and then I can use that money to basically pay. It doesn't feel right to me the low number that I ended up paying him for this cartridge, and so I really just want to do right by him. And so, you know, if I can, you know, sell some carts for, I don't know, say $40 a piece or whatever, and then you know, be able to pay him off reasonably before I release the ROM, then, you know, I'd like to do that. Yeah, but I also, Jason, I just wanted people to know that I'm not out here trying to make a buck, right? Like, if I paid, you know, a couple thousand for this cartridge, then I would be fine with releasing it myself. It's just that, I don't, you know, obviously, with the nature of the relationship between me and the seller and him being an ex-Nintendo employee, that relationship is very valuable to me. And I'd like to make sure that, you know, I didn't even know you could make him give up. I just want to make sure that he doesn't feel burned or put out at all now that, you know, we all know what this game is. So yeah. Some people understand, right? Some people won't. And it is what it is. I'm really sorry about the coughing, guys. I feel super guilty. But I did also want to just play this on stream. So, you know, right after I got the cartridge, figured out what it was, I sent it right off to Frank Cifaldi. So, Frank still has the physical cartridge, but he emailed me the ROM. So, so in the meantime, I wanted to play it for you guys. Yeah, it's just really always been important to me that this hobby not feel like work or a job, right? Like, as soon as it starts feeling like work, then I feel like I run the risk of it not being fun anymore. So, I actively try not to make money off of this hobby. The movie's so ridiculous. Yeah, like I said, on some timeline, I do want to release, and I absolutely will release the ROM digitally for free. But you know, if I do that, I want to try selling out the carts first, so that the people who really have a hankering for it, I just want to meet the demand first, and then be able to again pay the seller what I feel is reasonable, and then I don't care. Like I'm not trying to make money off this in perpetuity, and I'm not worried about like devaluing this cartridge or whatever. I just think it's cool. You know. And again, I didn't pay much for it, so it's not like I paid $5,000 for it, and then I'm worried about devaluing the cart by releasing the ROM. You know, I paid much less than $1,000 for it, and again, I just don't feel right about that, considering what it ended up being. Yeah, ColecoVision, actually, I'm... oh, sorry. I'm playing on a ROM right now that was dumped using the NT-Mini. Frank Cifaldi still has the physical cartridge, and I might not get it back for a little bit because he's prepping for GDC. I would never, under any normal circumstance, stream with a cough like this, because I know how annoying it can be. But I figured you guys would put up with it under the circumstance. Yeah, take that, Ric Flair. You know what? That was funny too. Oh, I graduated. Yeah, Console Vision, that's who I was just talking about. Frank Cifaldi runs the Video Game History Foundation. Sorry, I totally called you ColecoVision earlier because I'm kind of side-eyeing the chat. Woof. Green Shell, what up, dude? It's fast. I like that. It's not as complex as I think it might seem. Like most of what you're seeing here is me just pressing A bunch, or B, sorry. like all this right now, the kicking and the face grabbing and all that, that's just me spamming one button. I mean, not that there's that many buttons to spam. And then the punch is A. There doesn't seem to be, I mean, a tremendous amount of skill to it, because it's just like, if he gets you in a hold, you can just spam the button harder and you'll break it. But, I mean, it's fun. I mean, it's no worse than any of the other wrestling games on this console. I mean, it is pretty brainless though. Like, at least so far. I'm not gonna go out there because I want to pin him. Threw me off at fun. My best guess, just after what we've learned in the last couple days, Josh, is that this was made during a time that, like, there was a brief period where the WCW was called the UWC. So what probably happened, and again, this is all just conjecture, is that this game got made, and then they changed the organization's name. And then, I don't know, maybe they lost some of the rights to the wrestlers or whatever, but there's a likelihood that like they needed a new deal or something like that when the WCW became the WCW. That's why you have all these WCW characters in a game called UWC. That's my guess. Is that when the name of the organization changed, then they had to kind of start over. But, you know, I don't know. No! Is the audio on the game okay? You guys can hear it okay? Because I'm not playing with any sound. So the capture cards, I don't think getting sound. Yeah, that I can't, you know, can't speak to that. We're all trying to figure out something that happened 30 years ago. So, I mean, even the guy that wrote the Paste article, I don't know if you guys have been reading the articles on this, but the guy that wrote the Paste article was saying that he reached out to the WWE, and they had no one there that knew anything about it. So, I mean, I don't know. I really doubt that there's going to be a guy that we find that goes, oh yeah, I totally know all about this game. I think there's going to be a lot of guesswork. I don't know. I don't think we'll ever get really hard answers on a lot of the stuff. Two things really bother me about this game. Okay, the horrifying crowd. But also that the horrifying crowd doesn't move. But also that the ref doesn't really move. Freaks me out a little bit. I'm glad you guys can finally see this in 4.3. A couple people, in fact, I think Kotaku called me out on capturing the footage in 4.3. I mean, in 16.9. But what happened was that so the chips on the physical cartridge are raised, right? Because they're socketed chips, and in order for them to socket chips, you know, they're not soldered to the board, so they're raised because they have to fit into a socket. So the cart is a little bit thicker because those chips stick out. And so it doesn't, like right now I'm playing on an RGB modded top loader, and that cart doesn't fit in the top loader. So I had to use a clone console, and you know, those cheap clone consoles, they're nice because they're HDMI, but they also, well, this one in particular, forces 16:9, and so it was capturing in 16:9, and I was so excited I didn't even think to change it. So that is why the first, so because somebody called me out in the comments, they're like, okay, so this is the first time anyone's ever seen this game and you're seriously capturing it in 16:9, which fair shake, but that's why that happened, because I was using a clone console that forced 16:9. Yeah, I mean, someone might step forward. I mean, this is getting a lot of coverage now. So somebody might show up, but, you know, who knows. Someone earlier today suggested that we try to get this, as a free download on the Switch Virtual Console, which would be fucking amazing, right? But, like, the rights hoops that you would have to go through to make that happen is just ridiculous. You'd have to get, like, whoever holds these actual rights for this game. Maybe somebody does, you know, some parent company that bought Seta or whatever. But then you'd also have to get the WWE on board and Nintendo on board, and I just don't see those three things happening. But yeah, I mean, the game's easy enough that I'm mostly looking at chat right now, and I'm kicking his ass, so that kind of gives you an idea. Alright, you have a good night, Josh. It's weird that when you, in this game, when you knock them out, it's not the bottom of the ring that they fall out of. You actually knock them across, and then they fall out the bottom. Uh-oh. I've graduated to challenge the master level. You guys might actually see an ending here. So, like, before right now, the longest that I'd ever played this game was to capture that footage that I did for the video. So, so I pretty much don't know what's gonna happen. Oh, that was rough. Alright, I take it back. This mode is quite a bit harder. Although apparently I can just cheese the head out of this guy. Oh no. No! No, you bastard. Oh, I'm gonna die. Boo! That was very, very difficult. Game over. Is it one death? Oh man, that's heartless. Oh no, okay. I can at least start on master. Although there's no battery save, so you have to play through all 3 modes in a sitting. Hello! Yeah, so this goes from, like, not at all hard to pretty effing hard. Like, beginner and professional are pretty much the same, and then master is actually really hard. Like, he is just tearing me up right now. I'll have to ask Frank for pointers, because I know he beat this game before he sent it to me. Maybe I'll text him right now. I'm getting my butt kicked. I'm giving up. Yep. That one life game over is brutal, man. Let's try tag match. I wonder how tag match works. Hell yeah. Yeah, I don't see a way to actually tag people. At least you don't actually have to be good for this stream. You guys are just interested in seeing what the game looks like, so that's handy. Yeah, this master level is brutal. I just kind of want to see how this works. But okay. I didn't see any way to actually tag. trying to figure out. I wonder if it's like a 2-player controller thing. Like if I plug in a second controller, if a second player can tag in. Because I don't see any other way to actually... Alright guys, I'm clearly not feeling very well right now. So, but I was able to give you guys kind of an idea of what this game looked like. A little bit further than just what I showed in the video, so I'm grateful to be able to do that for you. Again, I will likely give you guys some news of about distribution of the ROM soon. If you guys... For those of you who weren't in here in the beginning of the stream, that's probably going to look like a physical cartridge release, and then once that's done, releasing the ROM to the public. So that's currently the plan. But yeah, so I'm gonna hang it up for the night. That master level is like something brutal, man. My hand is cramping like nothing. So, but yeah, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.